to another episode of Because We Care with your hosts Reggie Watts and
Keith Kilgore.
And special guests. Special guest
Keith Kilgore and
Metal Fat Boy T.
Metal Fat Boy. Yeah. Today's episode is on teenage relationships, just in general. Do they have benefits? Why they don't work? Weird things like that. So, Sam, you can start off. We'll go through a line and then we'll just kind of discuss where people get stuff off their chest.
What to discuss about it?
Anything in general? Do you think are they useless?
All right.
Where do they go wrong?
First of all, I think people, due to society nowadays, people are too open generally and too quick moving into these relationships, and after a week they're telling their partner their deepest secrets, or at least their secrets, and really trying to characterize themselves and try to be what they see in movies and films and sports. But like they see these relationships, whether it's celebrities or whatnot, these people that fall in love, whether it's Twilight or The Notebook. I've never seen that movie, but I hear it's romantic. But they try and they see these things and they feel like that all these quick-moving relationships, this love at first sight thing, is really something that's possible. And I believe that this theory, it's too, it's a bad thing. Love at first sight, it's just no. I mean, you see these in movies, whether it's just some movie where people fall in love instantly and they go through this small little journey together over a course of an hour or 2 hours in this movie, and that's just not how life works. The key that they need is to be withdrawn. They can't move too fast, or they feel too attached to someone to begin with, and that's where they screw themselves. Because after first of all, you meet someone, you should talk to them for a while. Get to know them. Not just storm right into relationships, or storm right into a relationship and then you run out of things to talk about. Like, you just don't have that connection. You skip over that part and you realize after you're in this relationship for even a month, you just don't have that connection. And you're like, what the hell am I going to do? This person's annoying and they're a bitch. Or like a month ago I thought they were the sweetest, most amazing person ever, and now they're just annoying, and it's because you skip over that connection and you don't have that. And that's where people screw themselves. It's just, the key is taking their time, even if it feels right to just run into someone's arms. It's wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
So fuck you.
Alright, so my opinion is they're not going to work out. Most teenage relationships are not going to work out. It's just how we are, but then the purpose that they serve is because of this. We don't, under the age of, I don't know, maybe by age 17 or 18 you start to figure out what you want. But before then you don't know what you want. So you need to figure out what you want. And so dating is kind of how you do that in a way. So that's like the purpose. But then I think people just immediately like, oh, I'm so much in love and it's amazing. Also, the other thing is, as teenagers, it's really easy for us to do this, because we're all guilty of it. I know we are. That, judging people before you actually get to know them. Where, like, I actually had an experience recently where there was somebody I know, and I'm like, wow, that person, I don't like that person. They're not the kind of person I want to hang out with. And then I actually, sat down, and we're in the same area, and we talked, and I'm like, wow, they're actually a really cool person. Because it's really easy to jump to conclusions about people you don't know, which is the same thing with, like, relationships. You're like, oh, this person's perfect for me. And then, so you're like, oh, they're perfect, and so you hop right in, kind of like what Sam said, which is kind of the wrong thing to do.
Skip the fucking connection.
Okay.
Hey.
Well, I'd like to kind of placate on something Sam said, which was that whole idea of love at first sight, which I would like to blame Shakespeare for that. For writing perhaps the worst story ever written ever.
English literature's fucking stupid.
Wait, what story?
Romeo and Juliet,
That
the
was,
worst story.
Okay, the literature
ever
elements of that story were superb for their time, although it's very overrated.
However, the story about love at first sight and all that garbage,
William
being so
Shakespeare
young,
needs to take
at
a
that
dig
party,
up the ass. He's a good.
Okay,
author.
he's a good author, but for that, I think it really spoke a lot to the culture, and it created this love at first sight ideal that we cherish today.
Can I add this weird thing?
Okay, go ahead.
Which is a statistic that I've heard, which I forget exactly what the numbers are, but it's somewhere around 50%, where basically 50% of people, by the age 18, 50% of people have already met the person that have already met the love of their life.
By
It's
age
which-
15?
By age 18. By age 18, the 50% of people have already met the person that they will eventually end up marrying and spending the rest of their lives with. So, I mean, again, that kind of goes, yeah, love at first sight is very romanticized, but I mean, again, there's a 50% chance you've already met the person you're going to end up with.
But then I'd also like to say that there's been studies proving that over half of teenage relationships are based on more of just appearance and almost solely nothing on personality whatsoever. So you can get married to all these things, but what's the success rate of all these marriages that you're going to look at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many are going to end in divorces? Look at today's ratio. Typically, I think it's over half of all marriages fail. Okay, that's probably I think it's what our culture's evolved into, really. And my high school relationships don't tend to work out is the fact that people just. I like what Sam said about not rushing into things more so, but you need to understand people in general a lot more. You can't just expect people to do some things or behave certain ways. You need to have your own expectations. You need to find out what you're looking for and find someone who is more right for you. I feel like that's a better way to go about your business.
T-Lloyd.
I think one
Guy.
reason why high school relationships don't work out is because they tend to get their friends involved in them. And
Yeah.
that's just a fucking no-no. And then they'll get their friends involved in them, and then the guy or girl or whoever the fuck wants to like get with that person, and then this just relationship doesn't work out. I'm not saying the people in a relationship should have no friends, and the guy's friends can't talk to the girlfriend's friends or whatever. It's just more getting them really, really involved and into their relationship. It's just, that's a fucking no, if you ask me. You shouldn't do that, and you should talk, like Sam said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else I kind of wanted to add is
And me.
is the idea, like in a way, again, talking about people aren't really sure about what they want. If you look at guys, again, I'm not going to lie, a lot of teenage relationships, like he said, is based on appearance and not so much personality. Like, kind of like what I said, you get to know somebody who you never thought you'd liked before, you actually end up liking them, and then, you know, you actually get to know somebody who you thought was the hottest person in the world, and it turns out they're a complete douchebag. And so that's kind of like guys put a lot of weight on girl appearances, and girls, basically girls, they like to look at the bad boys and like, I'm gonna change him.
Or like guys just see a hot chick and be like, I want to bang her.
Yeah.
That's why all these true relationships are just, they're more about appearances. So but now keep in mind, we're talking about actual, you know, meaningful relationships, not just like
A fling.
a fling. And you know, this does not include that or drunkenness. So those two.
And also, I feel like teenagers are also afraid of intimacy, and they'll do anything to get around it. There's like open relationships and like friends with benefits, so just do anything
that.
kind of to get around with it.
Yo,
Yo.
let me tell you, nigga.
Are you trying to
The number one thing in a relationship is trust.
I
You don't got
agree
no
with that.
trust, you don't got no niggas. And then you all alone. Motherfuckers.
This is true advice.
If you ain't got trust, if you ain't got trust, you ain't trying to have a relationship.
Yeah, man, you trying to have trust? But in all seriousness, it's trust. You can't be fucking around with other guys.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Alright, I think that's about everything to cover about this. Maybe we'll do another one if we come think of anything else.
But for the time being, this is the cast of Because We Care and our guest from Weekly Metal Reviews. And
I love Reggie.
I love sports.
Water sports are cool.